Peace, what up, your man D Prime 215 here. So as you know, I went to WrestleCon along with G1 Supercard and WrestleMania 35. So at WrestleCon, I had the opportunity to meet Hiroshi Tanahashi. Been a fan of this guy since about 2006. He had a match against AJ Styles in TNA. It was positioned as being AJ Styles versus his Japanese counterpart, his Japanese equivalent. It was the first time I ever heard of Hiroshi Tanahashi, first time I ever saw him, but needless to say, I was very impressed with his performance, and I followed his career since then, seeing him get in the ring with likes of Shinsuke Nakamura, Kurt Angle, Kazuchika Okada, Kenny Omega, Yugi Nagata, Keiji Mutoh, so many, and just a bunch of really top matches, amazing matches across the board. And I'm thinking so much about recently, like, you know, his feud with Kazuchika Okada, and even more so his matches against Shinsuke Nakamura, in particular the G1 Climax 25 final. Bro, like, I don't even have words for that match. That match alone is just one of my favorites ever. So with that being said, you know, it was great to meet Tanahashi. So let me break it down what it was like to actually meet the guy, right? So that day, just to give you some context, I was also going to G1 Supercard's meet and greet. So this was the day before the G1 Supercard. I believe it was April 5th, and G1 Supercard was on the 6th because WrestleMania was on the 7th. All right, so April 5th, right? That same day, I still had to get to Madison Square Garden so I could meet Kota Ibushi and Jushin Thunder Liger, right? So at this point, I'm getting ready to leave. I'm like, all right, I done met everyone at WrestleCon. I wanted to meet on that Friday. I'll be back on Saturday. And then I realized, I'm like, wow, Tanahashi, you know? So the line is starting to get crazy, and not crazy in a bad way. I mean, like crazy, like it was getting long. And I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, yo, like I still got to get to Madison Square Garden. Like, you know, what's cracking with it? You know, as I'm starting to like, you know, worry, I'm like, am I still going to make it there in time? Tanahashi comes walking by. He's still in his wrestling gear because I think he had a match that day. I think Zack Sabre Jr. was involved in that match. They might have partnered. I forget the exact match, but he had a match that day. And so he comes walking by. Then I went up to meet him. Crazy thing is, like, Minoru Suzuki was there also, along with Katsuyori Shibata. So Tomohiro Ishii was there. A whole bunch of New Japan guys are there. So I went up to meet Tanahashi, and I mentioned to him, I'm like, yo, like, you know, I've been a fan of yours since 2006 when I saw you wrestle AJ Styles in TNA, and he was taken aback by that. So it was great to finally meet Tanahashi, man, because, you know, being from Philly, you know, New Japan guys typically aren't anywhere close to me. Most of the time they do come to the U.S., which is, it's becoming a little bit more frequent, but even still in that, it's mostly on like the west side of the country. So they're like out in Cali, like, you know, Los Angeles, places like that. So being, you know, in New York, you know, is the closest thing. So I'm like, yo, let me head up there. And I wound up meeting Tanahashi. Great experience overall. As I mentioned, certainly one of my favorite wrestlers. Had a great experience meeting him. So to the Ace, New Japan, WrestleCon, salute. And it's your man D Prime 215 here. Yes, I know I rhyme a lot, and I do hip hop primarily, but I'm also a very big wrestling fan. So make sure you subscribe, trying some new things. Too sweet.